You know, when you or I get a little nervous about our money, we might sell some stocks, maybe move our savings around. But have you ever wondered what the people who literally control the world's money do when they get nervous? Well, right now, they're not just talking about it. They are making a massive move. They're quietly shifting huge amounts of wealth away from the currencies we all use every day and into something, well, something much, much older. We're talking about gold. And the scale of this buying spree is absolutely historic.
Just look at this number for a second. Over 1,000 tons. To give you an idea of how much that is, it's like the weight of 7 blue whales in solid gold. And that's not a one-time thing. That's what the world's central banks have been buying every single year for the past 3 years. That is more than double the pace they were buying at for the entire decade before. This isn't just some small adjustment, it's a massive signal that something big is changing in the world of money. And that, right there, is the trillion-dollar question. When the financial guardians of the entire planet start stockpiling an ancient asset like it's going out of style, you have to ask, what do they see on the horizon that the rest of us might not? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and figure it out together. So here's our game plan. First, we'll dive into this new gold rush and see who's buying and why. Then, to really understand what's going on, we have to take a quick trip back in time to ask a fundamental question. What even is money? We'll look at the gold standard era, and then the single day when everything changed. And finally, we'll connect all the dots to see why gold is making such a huge comeback right now. It's going to be fascinating. Okay, let's get right into it. This isn't just a handful of countries hedging their bets. We're talking about a huge, coordinated shift among the world's most powerful financial players. And it's all a direct response to, the growing storm of uncertainty out there. Everything from geopolitical conflicts to economies that just feel a bit shaky.
But what's really wild here isn't just that they're buying, it's the speed. This isn't a slow and steady increase, it's an all-out sprint. They've more than doubled their average pace. So why the sudden urgency? Well, in a world where global tensions are rising, holding all your wealth in someone else's currency starts to feel a lot more risky. They're changing their playbook, and they are not wasting any time.
And here's the kicker. They're not even being shy about why they're doing it. A recent survey from the World Gold Council basically lays it all out. Get this, a staggering 95% of central bankers believe that countries will keep increasing their gold reserves. Almost half of them plan to add more to their own vaults. And my favorite stat here, 0%, not a single one, expects their gold holdings to go down. The reasons are simple. They trust gold in a crisis, it's a great way to diversify, and it helps protect against inflation.
So to really get why everyone's suddenly running back to this shiny yellow rock, we first have to answer a question that sounds super simple, but is actually pretty deep. What gives the money in your pocket its value anyway? Basically, money has 3 main jobs to do. First, it's a medium of exchange, which is just a fancy way of saying you can use it to buy a coffee without having to, trade the barista a chicken for it. Second, it's a unit of account, so we all agree that a car costs way more than a coffee. And third, and this is the most important part for our story, it's supposed to be a store of value. That means the money you save today should be able to buy you roughly the same amount of stuff tomorrow.
Now, for most of human history, money was tied to a real, physical thing, usually gold. But today, pretty much the whole world uses what's called fiat money. Fiat is just a Latin word that means let it be done. So fiat money has value simply because a government says it does, and just as importantly, because we all agree to believe in that promise. This was a monumental shift. We went from money as a tangible thing to money as a shared idea. And it's that very idea that central banks are now starting to second guess.
But what is that trust really based on? I saw this great explanation on a Reddit thread once that put it perfectly. The value of the US dollar comes from faith in the US government and its massive economy, sure. But there's also a clever, concrete reason you have to pay your taxes in US dollars. That simple requirement creates a constant, massive demand for the currency, giving it real-world value beyond just being a promise. It's actually pretty brilliant.
Okay, so let's jump in our time machine and see how this all worked back in the day. Because for a long, long time, that government promise wasn't just an idea. It was a physical guarantee you could literally hold in your hand. After World War II, a major agreement called Bretton Woods basically made the US dollar the center of the entire financial universe. Every other major currency was tied to the dollar, and the dollar itself was tied directly to gold at a fixed price, $35 an ounce. Any country holding dollars could, theoretically, fly to the US, knock on the door of Fort Knox, and trade their paper money for a stack of gold bars. This system brought stability to the world for decades.
But that system started to crack.
By the late 60s, the US had spent a ton of money overseas, and there were way more dollars floating around the world than there was gold in US vaults to back them up. Other countries got nervous and started asking for their gold back. This all led to one single, dramatic weekend that completely rewrote the rules of money.
And boom, here it is. Imagine it's a Sunday night in August 1971. You're watching TV, and President Nixon interrupts the program to announce that the U.S. is temporarily closing the gold window. Just like that, the promise that had anchored the entire global economy for a generation was gone. It must have felt like the very definition of money had changed overnight.
So why did he do it? Well, the US was in a tough spot. Inflation was rising, unemployment was up, and countries were lining up to drain America's gold reserves. It was like a run on the bank, but the bank was the entire United States. Nixon had to make a tough choice to protect the US economy. And in that single moment, the entire world was pushed into the modern era of pure fiat money.
And that brings us right back to today. Now that we understand that our entire global financial system is built on this foundation of trust and government promises, we can finally understand that very first slide, why the world's biggest banks are running back to gold.
The logic is actually super simple. Here it is in 3 steps. Step 1, we live in a world of fiat money. It's all based on trust. Step 2, geopolitical risks are going way up. Tensions and sanctions mean that holding your country's savings in another nation's currency, like the US dollar, suddenly seems way more dangerous. So, step 3, central banks are diversifying. They're buying gold because it's neutral. It's nobody's liability. Its value doesn't depend on any single government keeping its promises. And if you want to see just how serious this shift in thinking is, check this out. That same survey asked central bankers what they thought the future holds for the US dollar as the world's main currency. An incredible 73%, almost 3/4 of them, expect the dollar's share of global reserves to go down over the next 5 years. They are actively planning for a world that is less reliant on the dollar.
So at the end of the day, here's the big takeaway for them. For a central bank, gold is the ultimate insurance policy. In a world that feels increasingly unstable, it's a physical asset whose value isn't tied to anyone else's political or economic decisions. It's a hedge against the very system of trust that has run the world for the last 50 years.
So what does all this high-level central banking stuff mean for you and me? Well, we can actually learn a lot from their playbook. First, diversification is king. Even the biggest players don't put all their eggs in one basket, and neither should we. Second, it's so important to think about what assets truly hold their value over the long run, especially when inflation is eating away at our savings. And third, just being aware of these big global risks helps all of us make smarter, more resilient financial choices. Look, I know that hearing about all these huge global shifts can feel a little intimidating, maybe even scary, but it really shouldn't be. Knowledge is power. The fact that you're watching this, that you're taking the time to understand how money really works, that's the first and most important step to building real, unshakable financial confidence. You are already ahead of the game. You've got this. All right, let's do a super quick recap of what we learned. 1. Central banks are buying gold at a record-breaking pace. 2. Our modern money system is based on trust, or fiat, not a physical thing. 3. That all started with the Nixon shock in 1971, which cut the dollar's last tie to gold. And 4. In today's shaky world, gold is making a comeback as the ultimate neutral safe haven asset. And that really leaves us with one big final question to think about. After more than 50 years of money being just an idea, are we seeing the world slowly return to the belief that true, lasting value might need a physical, tangible anchor after all?
I would honestly love to hear your thoughts on this. What was the most surprising thing you learned today? Was it the sheer scale of the gold buying? Or maybe the fact that your taxes help give the dollar its value? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you for spending time with us here at the Violet Vault. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, stay focused and keep growing.